Thank you everyone for joining another Appscan Tuesday session, episode 24th today. And today I have special guests from the HCL Software Lab, group, organization, whatever you want to call it, from the HCL Software side on the DevOps side of the house. We are going to talk about Appscan, about Accelerate and how it works with Appscan. The idea here is, and we'll let Bryant and Steve share more of the information, of course. But I want to connect this to the session that we had last week with Florin, when we were talking about Azure DevOps and how to integrate with that to optimize scans as part of your pipeline and optimize how you get the results back to Azure DevOps. So without further ado, I'll invite Steve and Brian to join the call. Hi, Steve. Hi, Brian.
Hey, thanks for having us.
Sure. Glad to have you. So Steve is the head of product for the DevOps side in HCL Software, and Brian is the product manager for Accelerate in specific. I got it right?
You got it.
Okay, thanks. And Steve and I were discussing many times in the past on the value. I learned a lot about the value that Accelerate can bring our customers, Appscan customers. Just as a background, Accelerate is based on velocity, urban code velocity, right?
That's right. The technology, when we came over as part of the IPP agreement, was based off of velocity. We since then have added quite a bit of functionality to it and have pretty much differentiated it. So it's definitely its own tool. Accelerate has a lot of functionalities that you won't find within the urban code velocity product itself. But yeah, that's exactly what the technology is based on.
Cool. So before we go even deeper into Accelerate and let Brian also talk, Steve, just if you can share a little bit about the DevOps portfolio that you have.
Yeah.
HCL has several tools, and why?
Yeah. No, it's a very good question. We've kind of been a mixed bag of tools and really trying to put it all together under a DevOps brand. So, a lot of the products in our portfolio are part of an IP partnership through IBM. We launched the whole portfolio in June. It's got a number of different products, everything from continuous integration and continuous delivery, source code management, work item management. Testing is a big part of the whole portfolio. We've got everything from virtualized testing, functional testing, you name it. So there's a whole plethora. We've even got modeling tools. So really anything that you're looking to do, we really focus on helping our clients modernize how they're delivering software. That's how we think about it. It's really rooted in continuous improvement. That's kind of our mantra, and really helping our clients, not necessarily replace all of their tools they have today, but get the most out of those tools. So a lot of our clients have been doing DevOps for over 10 years. And so it's how can we make the most out of the investment that they have today, and really put them on the path to solving what we think of are day two challenges. So not so much just focused on automation, but really helping companies understand that just doing automation isn't enough, right? We want to move from continuous deployments to actual continuous delivery. And to do that, you really need to focus on how you can improve your value stream.
Yeah, and I think that one of the things that I like best with what you guys are doing, it's similar to what we do in Appscan. We are not trying to force you to use our tools. You can use whatever tools that you want. We want to bring the value add. And maybe a key here is with Accelerate, right? Brian, you're integrating with whatever tools. You don't have to use our tools. We would love you to use. We would love if you can use our tools, especially Appscan, leading in the industry. But tell me, Brian, from your perspective, why should Appscan customers care about Accelerate? What does it give them?
Yeah, that's a good point. We definitely integrate with the market leaders like Appscan. But like Steve said, we want to come to your business and help you. So we don't want to go change all the tools or get you on a platform. We really want to help you day one, get a baseline of where you are. And that's what Accelerate's going to do. It's going to come in, it's going to integrate with your processes that you're using today. It's built on a really flexible concept, because we kind of started this in-house and we knew it had to be flexible to work with everyone's process. So you can actually outline your process kind of from idea to value, right? And using all those tools in the SDLC to actually get real value out of Accelerate. So that was our approach we took from the get-go. We knew that to be market leaders in value stream management, we had to work with the teams and how they were working today. And then we could teach them best practices. We could teach them, hey, if you're not doing scans today on your applications, we got a great tool like Appscan. We could definitely bring in and help you out there.
So you mentioned the keyword value stream management, and we jumped ahead when we started recording because we talked before that. What is value stream management? People that listen to this show, they come from the application security side. They're not necessarily understand what is even value stream management.
It's not a new concept, right? Value stream management really comes out of manufacturing. It's something that's been around for ages. It's really looking at smoothing out your process or leaning your process as much as possible. So we do look at from idea. You have a conceptual idea. I want to make a new front end to my application, all the way to you actually deliver that. And we're really looking for pockets of waste anywhere along the way. And that could be how we hand off from development to documentation, how we actually go about testing, how we operate in our code reviews. All of those things, we look at every little kind of individual piece and say, hey, could this area be better? Could we improve this process? And a lot of times companies only take a whole look at how they operate, maybe, once every 6 months. They're not constantly analyzing. And DevOps is about feedback. It's all about fast feedback. And so what we try to do is really create the ultimate feedback loop, which is, looking at your value stream in real time and seeing, if a team makes a decision, we're going to move from 2-week sprints to 1-week sprints. Okay. Was that a good plan? Was that a good idea? We don't know unless we can really measure it. And so that's exactly the kind of stuff we're trying to do. We're looking at how teams are testing their applications. We're looking at how teams are running security scans, every aspect of it.
So basically you're fitting that retrospective stage of the sprint, right? At the end of the sprint, okay, what did we do good? What did we do bad? And how to improve?
Yeah, and even there, right? Retrospectives are a great example because when teams sit down for a retrospective, the first thing they talk about is, well, how did the week go? And part of what we're saying is you should already know how the week went, right? Yeah. We just get into the retrospective, focus on what we're going to fix because it's all very blatantly obvious what's been going well and what's not. So it makes it like a proactive conversation instead of a reactive conversation.
And that's why, Bryant, basically why we see a lot of value to the Appscan side, right? To the application security testers. They're running scans. Should they? Do they get any value from it? Sorry for that. We don't want to just add tools in order to add tools and for us to sell more. Yeah, we were happy with that, but we want customers to get value, and that's why the work between our teams is very significant for my side, especially to make sure that the integration brings value. So, Brian, what would you say a value that a customer using Accelerate, how does it help them with their application security testing?
The first one we see is visibility. So usually the hardest thing for managers or anyone kind of outside of that core team is to know what's actually going on day to day. Where are the scans running? Which applications are they running? How many high, how many medium, scans do we get back? So really the first one we always see is that visibility. What are we doing today? And then we can start having...
And I think the key here is because we're talking about the DevOps managers, right? Those that are used to go to see the Jira tickets and the progress on the quality. So, hey, go and check the security also. Don't go and call those that use Appscan and check. See it in your tools.
It's the full picture, we like to call it, right? It's not just about, your agile metrics anymore. It's about everything that's happening in that value stream.
Because we basically should allow me to optimize not just my AppSec program, it optimizes the entire DevSecOps, right? And that's why in HCL, Appscan is part of the DevSecOps, right? And not just the security. And I think that as developers and the developer organization will treat security, application security better as part of the responsibility, and Accelerate helps with that, they will do a better job in that.
That's exactly right. Really, we want to take it from a developer saying, okay, my code's checked in, I'm done, hands off, right? They want to know, hey, that code you just checked in, it actually failed something, right? You might have just introduced something for the business, and that's very important for us to also catch to make sure these things aren't getting released to our customers.
Okay, so let's continue on the demo and discussion that I had with Lauren last week. We shared basically how you run scans as part of your pipeline. We used Azure DevOps, but naturally there are many different tools that can be used, and and Launch is one of the options from your portfolio, Stephen. Bryant, once we finish the scan, right? Once we finish the scans, it's based on the policy, like Florian showed last time, some tickets were opened in Jira. Show me the story in Accelerate, right? We said we can monitor the scans, but we can also do more than that, and we can see your screen now.
Awesome, great. So this is what I was kind of talking about, is that full picture of what's happening, right? And the way we like to see this is there's a lot of metrics. There's going to be the value stream industry standard metrics like lead time, load, distribution. But I think for this conversation, what's really interesting is bringing that visibility up of who's running these scans and what the counts are, right? So you'll see a couple different charts here because they're all affected by these decisions we're making. Your lead time is how long it's going to take to get into production. Well, a lot of that goes to what happens if we keep failing scans and our, CAB meetings don't allow us to go to production, right? So we really want to start looking at not only how long is code taking, but what is happening with these scans. And you can see this team's been improving, right? And they're, definitely going down. You can sort this by applications. But I think what's really interesting is when you start getting into those granular levels like you're talking about. So when you look at a single value stream, this view right away is really big for our customers because you can see each value stream that could be multiple applications, who's actually running the scans and who's not running scans. Right there is a clue number one. And then when you do figure out, who's running the scans, these are the tickets you're talking about. So let's say that, I found out I have too high. Appscan's telling me that I need to get those fixed before my next release. Those now bubble up down here. And you can actually see in the legend that you'll have different type of priorities. So you can actually see the highest priority items and how they're flowing through your value stream. What you don't want to see is your security high vulnerability still sitting here selected for development, right? And you can start tracking how long these things actually take with data. And I think that's what's really interesting about Accelerate is this isn't someone moving a ticket around. This is the relationships between all your work item tools, your source control tools, those build, deployment, and testing tools.
And it takes all that information from the defect tracking system, right? You don't need to go to Accelerate and change anything.
No, that's right. Once you set up your process, you'll actually see you'll see all the data in here. So you can see that this one's actually built upon build data, where this stage is built upon your source control system. So that's what I was saying. It's super flexible. Whatever your process is today, let's work with it. Let's see where we can get better and remove those bottlenecks.
And I think that as companies want to move to really continuous deployment, we shouldn't kid ourselves. Security vulnerabilities will be shipped outside. Applications will be out with known vulnerabilities, known for the development team. And I think this helps them measure how long it will take them to fix and to make sure that they fix it and don't keep them outside, right? Do you see Accelerate, and sorry for not preparing you to this question, but can Accelerate also help me measure what is the impact of running security scans on my pipeline, how long now it will take because I added a step?
So that's actually a very interesting question. And what we've actually introduced in 2.0 is reports. And that's what we're really seeing our reports coming out as, is we have all this information. And I'll share a use case internally. We added a lot of end-to-end tests to make our more robust product for our customers, but that added build time because some of them were flaky. So our developers actually used our framework to build a report based upon those timings. So we have all that data, and that's the magic of Accelerate is when we run into customers asking, hey, how long did my build times go up because I introduced Appscan? We can make a report for that. We can show that data because we have all those relationships.
Okay, cool. Because this is something that is probably very strong for security teams when they want to integrate security, when they want to get dev to help and run the security scans. Dev will always often push, well, you're going to make my pipeline from the 25 minutes that it takes me today to 3 hours. No. And they can use this tool to show them, right, what is the real impact.
Yep, and we also track build frequency, deployment frequency, all those metrics. So if you start seeing that they're not deploying or building as frequent because maybe the time went up, it's definitely a conversation to have with your teams.
Okay. And what does HCL Accelerate integrate with? I know it integrates with ASOC. Do you have integration with Appscan Enterprise, for example?
We do. So it's a webhook integration currently. So you can actually go to Accelerate and see all of our integrations. We call those kind of our plugin marketplace.
Okay.
So you'll see Appscan there, you'll see ASOC there, but then you'll see a full list of all the market leading tools that we've ran into with our customers. So you'll see the big work item tracking tools like Jira, Rally, Compass, the source control tools like GitHub, GitLab. And what's really awesome about some of these is they're actually platforms like Azure DevOps. They do work item tracking, they do source control, deployments. And what we're really seeing in the market is people are using sections of these. But we're going to support all those sections so you can use them interchangeably with different tools.
Cool. And people can easily try it out, right? You guys have a community edition for this. So for those of you, well, before we jump into promotion, anything else that you wanted to show on Accelerate with regards to Appscan?
Yeah, the final thing that we always like to do is encourage getting better, right? I think I talked about that a little bit. Is it's one thing to know your processes, know where your bottlenecks are, know what teams aren't running scans, but then it's always a conversation of how to get better. If you're not using a tool today, we do offer manual gates, but what we're really excited about is kind of our automated gates. These are going to check that DevOps data lake and those data-driven decisions to actually look at these metrics and set these policies to this. So you can't actually release this application or this code until the vulnerabilities have 0 blocks, right? And that's what we're trying to drive at. Maybe your team has those 20 high vulnerabilities, and there's a goal to get those down to 10. Set this gate, let's get better, let's work towards 0 over time, right? And that's really kind of our OKR, goal-driven DevOps, and that's what we see a lot with our customers.
And it's great. It's basically the maturity level that they are in when they start. Okay, let's see how many issues they have, and let's not say 0 issues unless, and if not, you can't move to the next stage because it doesn't make sense. But you work with the teams, and I guess it's pretty simple for the business owner to define those policies.
That's right. And it sets goals for our product owners, right? I think we're all PMs on the phone. I want to make sure that there's a focus on making sure that these are getting resolved over top of features, right? So making sure these high priority items are in the backlogs, they're getting groomed, that they're moving through the value stream.
Sounds cool. So let's bring you back now. Thanks, guys. So, as I said prematurely, we have a community edition version that people can try with Appscan or with any tool that they want. How did they get it? I'll have a link. You guys will give me, and I'll have a link in the description below. What does the community edition give me?
Gives you 2 free users. So you'll get all the functionality, but it's really 2 floating users. So 2 people can be signed in the product at any time.
Okay.
It's really good for individual teams that want to pick it up, right? It's designed to be kind of that 2-pizza team. So not everybody needs to be logged in to get the value. And we found that 2 users is a pretty nice sweet spot for that.
Cool. So people will be invited to check it out. And if anyone has any question, reach out to us. We will be happy to help. And there is also there are a lot of videos or a few videos on explaining how to use Accelerate, so it should be pretty straightforward, I hope. And if it's not, let us know. I'm sure that Steve will be happy to tell Bryant, hey, it's not. But we use it ourselves, so it's a great tool to use. Thanks, guys. Any last words for the folks out there?
Appreciate you having us on.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
See you.